Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Strategy Gaming Dojo, where we find, learn, and play one more turn of the great strategy games. And after a little bit of a delay, we're back and we're playing War in the East, Gary Grigsby's masterpiece, The Beast of the East. And we are continuing on. This is part 4 here. In part 3, we moved around our army, the 18th Army here in the north. Let's get up here to the north where you can see it. We moved our 18th Army. They got spreading out here into the Baltic, or the Baltics, I should say. Now, I was pretty happy with all this turned out. Now, you're never going to get it exactly perfect, but what you're really trying to accomplish is to get on these major railways so that Soviet forces do not have a chance to retreat down those rail lines. Okay, and so you're trying to do that. You're trying to open up, most importantly, a pathway for your panzers to the north. And you want to get as many of these tiles green as you can. I say tiles, hexes, of course, so that your panzers can go north and get to Riga with the least amount of movement points possible. And I think we've accomplished about as well as you can accomplish it. I would like this guy to be able to go here. He's lacking one movement point to get over there, but that's okay. We did pretty well with these guys. You also want to get your rail repair here, your main rail repair. You want to get that moving. We have now gotten that moving, and we've moved the most that you can move in one turn, which is really about 3 hexes. We did have to rail it up here to the north, and so you can get 4 when you're in the Baltic, because you're only paying 1 point as you go each hex. But we got it at 3 out here, so that's good. We also started to build a southern, kind of a southwestern portion here of our pocket. And you can see here we've got all of these Soviet troops all, pocketed in here, or at least the beginnings of the pocket. The second part of that pocket is going to come from our 16th Army here in pink. And our 16th Army, we are going to move to Kaunas and up and start building the bottom part of this pocket. And then we'll use the panzers here in this neon pink to surround all of it. Okay, and so we're going to have one spearhead of the panzers move north to Riga, and we're going to have a southern spear here move to get to the river crossing here at the Daugava. And so we've got that all set up to do. Everything with the 18th Army went well, and now we just have to get it right with the 16th Army. And if we do that, we will be in good shape. I think hopefully this time we'll get through moving all of the 16th Army pieces. Now we also have this other railway repair line here, which is very important, and we will have to get that set up, moving towards Kaunas. That's going to go to Kaunas, Vilnius, down to Minsk, and then on east. And so we'll have to blow all of these Soviet units out so we can get our railway unit moving. Now, as usual, I like to play, and I think it's the best way to do things, from back to front. The reason being is you want to take these units when you use their movement points and they're going to get low on them, you'll use them to take care of these units, and then you can use the more forward of your units to advance as far as possible. All right. Now, one thing I'll point out, if this game looks a little bit different than what you have set up right at the start, you may say, well, my units here are white, and they do start out with the white NATO icon here. They're what I call free agents, meaning, I mean, not really. That's not a technical term. They were attached to Army Group North, which is now up here. We've railed Army Group North up here. They were attached directly to the Army Group. I do not like that. I like to have them attached, every corps attached to an Army headquarters. And so we've come down here and attached these units to our 16th Army, and that's why they're showing as pink. It may be a little different than your game when you first start, and I had to pay some political points to switch those over, but that's fine. That's what your political points are for. Um, and so we have now done that. Now, I say I like to play from back to front for the movement point reason, but there's one complication that we have here, and that is we have a very stacked front line. The stacking limits here are 3 units of any size, and so in this hex and this hex, we are completely stacked as we are in this hex. Now, we do have the Ninth Army just to the south of us. The Ninth Army we're going to deal with probably next time or the time after, but they're going to come out here and set the northern part of the central pocket. So they will be moving more towards Minsk. Our 16th Army here, as I said, directly east of Kaunas and then up. They will eventually cross here at the Daugava River and then head north to Leningrad. They are part of Army Group North, so they're going to be heading towards Leningrad. All right, so opening moves here. Let's think about what we've got. Uh, We've got one here, the Totenkopf. Now, the Totenkopf is attached to the 4th Panzer Group. Okay, we're not going to move our panzers just yet. I like to save them for last in each army group area. So up here in the north, we will save the 4th Panzer Group and move them last. After we've already moved the 18th, but after we move the 16th, then we'll go to the Panzer Group and move them. I like all of the hexes to be opened up that we can possibly open up. One other thing to keep in mind here, as we start moving out here, we're going to try not to disturb this pocket, meaning I'm not going to try to get any units next in the hexes next to it. The reason being is if you do that, it will displace them further. And actually, that could work to our detriment because they may fall back or get pushed back here. Now, they would take some attrition losses, but they would be out of our pocket. As it is now, if we get them surrounded, and we're off to a good start of doing that, if we get them surrounded here with, all green hexes and no railways to get out, they will eventually surrender. Maybe next turn, maybe the turn after, we may have to mop them up a little bit with some of these units, but they will become, essentially not fighting forces anymore. So we're going to be very careful not to displace these units that we've gotten in such a nice little area here as we move other units. Okay, one other thing, I guess, to talk about is this infantry group here, the 290th. They are still attached to the Panzer Group. I would prefer that's not the case. Let's see if we can switch them over to being attached to one of these infantry groups. Now, we can't attach them to the 1 Corps because the 1 Corps already is commanding 4 divisions here. Each division's 2 points. They can command 8. They are commanding 8. So we can't go any further with that. And so we cannot attach them to the 1 Corps. Now, where else do we have? We have another headquarters here. This is Lindemann, who's actually quite good. He is in the L Corps. Let's see if we can switch this unit here over to the L Corps, or if it will cost too much. So we'll go here. Nope, we can't do it. We don't have enough political points to switch them over to the L Corps, which is unfortunate, but we'll do that next turn. Just make absolutely sure that's the case. Yeah, there's no other headquarters we can switch that to, unfortunately. Too bad. Okay, but that's fine. And we'll use them to good effect, and we'll get them up here and probably attach them to Lindemann next turn. All right, so let's start moving from back to front. So let's go to the furthest back infantry unit or infantry division we have and move them up here to the one place where we don't have total stacking limit, which is right here. So let's take the headquarters off and let's move this unit. Make sure we've got the right unit. 254th Division. Okay, let's move them up here. All right, great. Now let's take their headquarters, which is attached to these other units, and go ahead and move them up here before we forget. I just want to make sure we don't forget, and we've got 2 headquarters stacked here in this hex, but we'll fix that here in a minute. I say fix that. I mean, there's not a problem with it, but they'll get moving a little further out into Soviet territory here in a moment. Now we look, this is the triple stack that we have here. This is where I just moved that unit. You can see it's here. It's still got 10 movement points. So let's click off the other two. Now this is a 2 defense, the best we can tell. We really don't know for certain, but it says it's a 2. Let's go ahead and do a deliberate attack on them because I want to make sure they can't survive. If we get rid of them, then we can move forward 1 hex and take care of this security unit with just a hasty attack. Hey David, how's it going? Sorry, I went in there and I said, "What's going on?" And hopefully I've got it fixed. Let me know if you have another problem, but I think it should be good now. There's something weird about War in the East. The resolution is strange, and it really, Twitch has a very hard time with it, but I think I've got that all figured out. Okay, so we're going to take the 254th Infantry Division. We're going to do a deliberate attack with them, and hopefully they won't just retreat. But unfortunately, it looks like they're going to hold, which is even worse result. Um, and it says they held here. They lost 231 men. We lost 15. But we're going to have to hit these guys again. Very surprising they held on there. Now we've got a lot better odds, and that should rout them, I would hope. Let's just hope it does. Yep, and they routed. Perfect. Okay, good. Whew, I was like, man, oh man, you don't want to get in the situation where you have to hit them 3 times. But now they've routed out. Now this same unit that we're using, we're going to move them forward 1 hex. Okay, they've only got 2 movement points yet left. We're going to go ahead and hasty attack this security unit. You can pretty much always do that. That's not a problem. You can hasty these security, I say, as the security unit holds on strong, but that's okay. We've still got these units back here, and we will move them forward. I always try to use the one that's got the most uh, attack value here as the one I move first, okay? So we're going to move this guy up here. Now remember, his headquarters is here. Let's go ahead actually and hit the Shift Z so we see that connection. You can still always see that it's in orange, its headquarters unit. But let's move this guy up here. Now these guys are now becoming our kind of northern force. We will hasty attack them again. And hopefully, oh my goodness, he's holding strong. We're going to have to do it again. Now it looks like we would pay 4 points here. We're going to pay 4, or we're going to have 4 left here. Let's go ahead and move him here, and we'll hasty attack that security unit once again, and finally it routes. Now luckily we still have 3 movement points left, and so we are going to deliberately attack. Now that's actually a good question. We could do here, or we could do here. Hmm. Let's. Well, what's the best way to go here, I think? Let's go ahead and do these guys. We've already got 1 routed unit in there. Yeah, that didn't work nearly as well as I'd hoped. Uh, they lost 72 men. We lost 15. You know, it's no loss there, really. But they did hold. Okay, well, now we're going to have to bring this 3rd unit from the back. And let's bring them here first. Is that where I want to go? Yep. Let's bring them here first, and let's have them deliberately attack this unit, which I wanted to get out of here. Now we've got 10 to 1 odds. Hopefully that will rout them. We shall see. Nope, they just reversed out of there. That's okay. I think we can still route all of these guys before we're done. So we're going to come down here. We will go ahead and deliberately attack that unit again. You know, we get, 6 to 1, 7 to 1 odds again. Hopefully, nope, they just retreated. Okay, that's still fine. We still have a point left here, so we're going to hasty attack this group and hopefully blow them out of here. 35 to 1 odds. They should go flying. Let's see. Yep, they both routed. Okay, perfect. Wasn't ideal with these 3 units. I would always like to do a little better than that. Now let's take their headquarters, which is the 23rd headquarters here. And before we forget, let's move. Make sure you click off the other one. Always look at these panes. Let's move the 23rd headquarters right on top of him. And now they're all good. They're all ready to go. Now we will not want another unit stacked here because we got to make sure that we can get our railway unit through here, okay? All right, now then, where do we go from here? Well, we have one more, what I would call just kind of a free agent unit. It is attached to the 200, or it's attached directly to the 16th Army. Let's see if we can attach it here. Do we want it to Schubert, which would put it with these, other units that were also free agent units? Would we rather have it with Schubert or von Brockdorf Affeldt? It looks like these guys are all kind of the same. Hansen's probably the best, but let's go ahead and attach it to Schubert's group here, which is the 23rd Corps, if we can. Let's see if we've got enough points to do that. I think we do, and we do. So we're going to attach this to the 23rd Corps. Can I find it? There it is. The 23rd Corps costs 0 points. Great. Okay. Now he's going to move out here and take out this unit we couldn't take out before. And now you see he's attached to this headquarters unit. We're going to move him right up here. And we are going to do a deliberate attack to try to make sure we blow this guy out of there. Oh, and all he did was retreat. All right. And on we go. We are going to move him one more spot forward. He's now got no movement points left. All right, now where do we go? Well, we could go ahead and move our Panzer, our infantry division that's attached to the Panzers, and see how far out here we can get it. I would actually like to open up a few of these hexes first, so maybe he can get all the way to here. So let's not do him yet. Let's move these guys a little further to the south here. And let's take the best unit of them, the one with 32 attack value, and let's have him do a deliberate attack here on this unit. And it should absolutely rout them out of here. Let's see if it does. And it does. Okay, so now they routed. That's good. And we've opened up these squares green. Now we still have that same unit selected. So let's go here and let's go ahead and hasty attack them. Now you see we're going to be opening this up for the 9th to come flying through here, hopefully. All right, great, perfect. And we got to remember, we still have all of these units of the 9th Army that will be coming out here. And so we don't have to necessarily like take care of everything down here with just these, nice units. Let's move him forward and let's have him do, we'll just hasty attack these guys and see if it works. And it looks like it has, so that's good. And again, he always only falls back. My goodness, this unit is really something. This time, we are going to make certain and we are going to deliberately attack them. Look at that. And now they finally routed. Well, thank goodness. But now you've also gotten close to what is just about the best Soviet unit up here in the center or the north, which is this motorized unit. Looks like tanks that has a 9 defense value, but we're going to take care of that with the 9th Army. I think we may, well, let's see. Now let's see. Okay, we got to make sure we move our headquarters unit forward. These are the other units with this headquarters. Well, I'm going to go back on myself here actually, and I'm going to say, let's come down here and try to blow these guys out of here. Okay, so we moved these guys that had routed, and let's do a deliberate attack. Make sure that they're within command range. They are 5 of 5. It's close, but they are. As a matter of fact, we can go ahead and move this headquarters unit up just a little bit, just to make sure we don't forget. Um, let's click here. All right, perfect. And let's deliberately attack them. Those are good odds, 3-1 essentially. And we routed a bunch out, although this unit did stay alive. Let's put it that way. Okay, we're going to move it up and let's deliberately attack them again. And as you see, they are losing a lot of armored fighting vehicles. They just lost 107. We basically lost 20 men for that. But now that is out of movement points, and we will move now this unit that's back here, and we're going to move them straight forward, and we're going to try to take out Kaunas, but we're going to bring in some help. And what are we going to do here? Well, first of all, we're going to look and see what we have back here. We still have von Wilktoren's group, all right. These 3 units, why don't we take we'll click off there, we'll click off there, and we're going to take just this unit here, move it forward. All right. Is it still in command range? It is. They're both 5 of 5. But while we're at it, why don't we go ahead and move the command headquarters up here just a little bit? And now we're going to take these two units and do a deliberate attack with infantry into Kaunas. And let's hopefully blow them out of here. And we've got 27-1 odds, or 18 or 19-1 odds. And there they go. All right, they routed. Finally, we got a good result there. So now we've got 4 and 3 movement points. Let's see if we can move this unit. We can. We can move it straight across the river there. All right. And we can move this unit. No, we can't quite get into Kaunas. Can it cross the river? It can. Can this get into an urban hex? It cannot. It costs more to move into an urban hex, and that's what you're seeing here. He could also come up here and actually remove another red square, but that's okay. We're going to move him here, and we're going to move the headquarters actually back 1. There we go. Try to keep it as close to the railhead as we can. Now that we've blown all of this out of here, let's move our railroad unit up to there. Now make sure you click off of these. You don't want to start moving them around. And let's start repairing rail. So we are going to how you doing today, David? Thanks for dropping by. Um, again, let's repair this rail. That's 1 point. Okay, now make sure these guys are not select. They couldn't move even if we did move them. I guess the headquarters could, but the infantry unit could not. Now let's move our railroad forward. Click off of those and repair another point. Okay, excellent. Now let's move him forward 1 more. Make sure we click off that. Repair. Excellent. Um, and now, interesting. Okay, yeah, we can move him there, and we'll do 1 more point, and we're almost to Kaunas already. That's fantastic. Okay, great. So that looks good. Now, who is, okay, this guy, we still have another guy with 16 movement here. So he can move through the city. Let's see, what's the best way here? Now we still have some units up here that haven't even moved yet. So let's get him into Kaunas, okay? And why don't we move him? Should we move him just north? Let's move them. Yeah, we want him moving as far as we can get him, so that's good. Okay, that's good. We cannot move this guy forward. Everybody here is a 0. All right, that's fine. Um, Now then, next, we've still got these guys down here or up here that we can move. We've got a 21 and a 33 attack value. Yeah, David, I know I just wanted to make sure that it worked out this time. I actually looked up about games like this. This is a game from 2011, and so the resolution, if you don't get the settings just right, Twitch does not like games from back then, uh, to say the least. And so I just wanted to make sure I had it right. But it looks good now, and I haven't seen any lag problems. So hopefully that's settled. War in the Pacific, I've got a whole group of settings just for that game. Of course, there you're talking about a game that originally was put out in 2004. And so that's even a little more difficult. But it looks like we got it all squared away now. All right, this unit, these guys, we're just going to try to get moving along here and displace as much as we can. Oh, what did we do there? Come on now. Let's click off him, make sure we've got this unit. I'm going to right click there. We just want to make sure they can't come back down this rail and do anything. And as you see, as we're moving, we are capturing supplies and fuel. And that's, of course, very important as time goes on here for sure. And then this unit, how far can they go? Well, maybe we'll just park them in Kaunas itself. And so now we have moved everything, I believe, in the 16th Army. Now the railroad is already passed, so we'll just go ahead and, as you can see, these guys are now out of command range. So we need to move our headquarters up. And let's do that. We'll just move this guy into town, let him hang out here in town. And we'll move the 16th Army headquarters up here right to the railhead. Excellent. And I always keep like the 16th Army Air Base. Um, let's move it over here on the railway, just one hex behind. We'll see what we do with those in the future, but this is all good. We've got this all kind of set up the way we want. As we bring the Ninth Army out here, we'll form the pocket with that really. Now we have this kind of lone Panzer Group infantry division, and we're just going to try to push that as far east as we can. It's going to lag way behind our panzers, but we're going to try to eventually move it over to a different command. So let's get this out here and moving, and that'll work just fine. You just try to move those guys as far east as you can when you have infantry with your panzers. All right, so where are we now? Well, now we get to move our panzers. One thing I will do before we do that is I'm going to take the 18th Army Air Base. Again, those just have recon planes generally. And I'm going to go up here. Oh, well, for one thing, what I'm going to do, let's actually go over here to the 18th Army and let's move it right here. And let's take the 18th Army Air Base and just stack it, you know, right on top of it, I guess. Perfect. Okay. So now we've just got them here. We'll leave them here for a while because they don't really need to move out until we've captured Riga. Then we'll go put the 18th Army headquarters there, but we'll wait until we get our railroad unit up there, and then we'll just rail them. Same with this air base, and we'll be moving our other air bases, but I always save that till the end of the turn. You generally, if you can, well, we'll get to air bases when we get to air bases, but I do that at the end of the turn. All right, so now we've got our panzers. Now, one thing that you have here is this Totenkopf SS motorized, all right? And that is attached directly to the Panzer Group. So it's one of these that is directly attached. And we have to figure out, would we rather attach it to one of the core headquarters for the Panzers? So we have von Manstein down here, right? We could push that unit down to him. The more units we have with him, the better, right? Every time von Manstein can roll, you want him to roll. He essentially passes every test. So let's think about that for a moment. Now we also have Reinhardt here, and Reinhardt is very good, and he is only leading 6 out of the 8 that he needs, or that he could lead. Let's put it that way. So we may want him to be with Reinhardt, or these Totenkopfs to be with Reinhardt. Now I can tell you, this is, it just kind of depends what you want to do. To the southern flank here with von Manstein, he's only got 3 underneath him. He's leading 6 of 8, but one of those is an infantry unit. Um, that we're going to take off of him. And so he's only leading 2 divisions. Seems like kind of a waste. But you really need more units to the north in turn 1. So what I generally do with Totenkopf here is I take them, I leave them in the 4th Panzer Group for now. And then as we advance past Riga, I will bring them south and give them to von Manstein. I just think it's the best way to operate. But you'll see why here in a minute. And so we're going to click off the 4th Panzer base, and we are going to start moving up here. Now, this is what I was talking about is you don't want to disturb this pocket. Really, if you bring Totenkopf like right through the middle of this, these things are all going to scatter to the wind, and that is what you want to try to avoid. But you can bring it, up this way, and it would only displace this one, and it is the quickest route to Riga, and we are going to try to get this up to Riga as fast as we can. So let's go ahead and bring it right here. And you see it's capturing supply and fuel as it goes along. Okay, and so it displaced up here. That's not bad. And this Totenkopf group is now blazing a trail. We're going to use its movement points to open up more movement points, for the panzers to be able to use to get all the way up to Riga. And as you see, we keep pushing this one back. Why don't we go here? All right, and oh shoot, I guess I should have gone there. Well, that's okay. We got 5 more tons of fuel as it came up here. Now we displaced their main headquarters or a main headquarters here. And now we don't want to take this one all the way to Riga. We're going to want this one to sit right here on this big rail node, but we do want this hex to open up green, so we spend less movement points when we bring other things up here. So we're going to go here, here. Now, if you go here, you can't really get back here. And we don't want like this unit to be able to go boink, boink. Now, it may not be able to do that anyway. It's already routed. You can't really do much with it. So I'm going to go here and displace him again, hopefully knock him, quite a bit further back, and then eventually settle right here with 1 movement point left. Perfect. Okay, now what are we going to do? Well, now don't forget, this is his headquarters, and if this unit is going to get fuel this time, it's going to have to be within 15. Right now, it's at 16, but of course, we will be moving this headquarters forward, so we should be in good shape there. Now, who else are we going to send north? Well, we're going to send Reinhardt's group. All right, so Reinhardt has these 2 panzer divisions here and a motorized division, the 36th. And so let's start moving the 36th up here and trying not to disturb any more of this pocket. So we're going to go, let's go here. All right. Now we've just got a straight shot to Riga. So let's go ahead and go up that way. We barely displaced one there. That's all right. Fine. Now he's just outside of Riga. Now let's bring Reinhardt himself up this way. This should not displace anything, but we want to make sure these guys stay in command. And so we're going to leave him right there on top of Totenkopf right now. Now he is also now out of command range, so we are going to have to bring our Panzer Group command up here. I think we can just let it sit right on top for now. We can just set it right there, and we'll take the air unit. Now, this is the overall headquarters for the 4th Panzer Group that we've sat here along with the 18th Army. They're sitting right at the railhead, so that'll work. Now, don't forget, we still have these 2 panzers here to move that are part of Reinhardt's group. Totenkopf is now within command. The Panzer Corps is within command. This is all good. And we're going to take this motorized unit and break my cardinal rule and attack into Riga. Now, why are we doing that? Well, for one thing, it's a motorized unit. It's not really going to lose tanks, which is what you're afraid. You don't want to lose panzers, but losing some men, which is really what you've got in these motorized units, isn't the end of the world. And if we can clear Riga right here, it really helps us. But let's see if we can do it. And we did get 2.5 to 1 odds. Yes, we knocked him out of Riga. Beautiful. So we routed. We routed all of those units. That was a lot. That was a lot of men that we routed out of there. And now we can get across to Riga with our panzers. And let's take the unit that's got the best attack value and let's start moving it north. All right, we'll start right there. You can see that's its headquarters. That's great. We may end up having to move Reinhardt a little further forward. All right, now he's still got 21 movement points left. Now we go to Riga. Okay. Now he's going to start coming this way and displacing all of this stuff, which is attrition. It, causes a lot of losses as you see these things displace out. Every time they do that, they take attrition. How much further can he go? Well, that's a swamp. That's not great. We could bring him down here and displace this headquarters, or we could bring him north here. Um, I probably want to bring him right here, I think. This is going to put him slightly out of command range, but that's okay because we're going to move Heinrich after this. All right, we're going to put him right here. That's great progress for turn one. What did I say? Heinrich? No, Reinhardt. My bad. And you can see he's now in red, and so he is not within command range. So let's move the headquarters ahead one. Let's see here. Now it's 5 of 5. He's back in command. Perfect. Okay, excellent. And so we have got that locked down, headed, we are past Riga in turn one. Now let's take this other panzer group here, and you've got a little bit of a choice here. Is it theoretically possible the Soviets could break the pocket here? Theoretically, it is, but most of these units are all routed. It does not seem likely to me that they could do that, but we have lots of movement points left for this panzer group. They're almost certainly going to get to Riga with no problem, which is all we need them to do. So what we're going to do is bring them up here. Now he is, oh shoot, he's 6 of 5. Let's move, no, not him. Let's move the headquarters back one again. Now these headquarters units have a ton of movement points, so there's really no reason for anyone to ever be out of command range because you can't move your headquarters. And we're going to go actually here, and we are going to hasty attack these guys. Got great odds. Let's see how much damage we do. 8,660 men shattered, routed. That's what you want to see. They went flying. And now that really didn't cost us anything. We can now, that was the only unit that would have had a chance to get out of this death grip. And now we are going to get moving here up to Riga, first of all. And then we'll come down here with him and displace this headquarters. Excellent. And now we'll take our headquarters and let it go sit. Let's see, he's got 11 points left. Make sure these guys, you got to make sure that they're within command range so that they get fuel to the extent the headquarters can get fuel. But that looks pretty good. This is pretty much ironclad. They can't move that many movement points to get all the way up here, and these units are routed. They can't get down here either. Hey, what's up, Stanley? Yep, we are late. P. Warner, what's going on? How are you? War in the East was being a little, Streamlabs and War in the East were not having fun with each other at our usual 10 o'clock time. So I did get it started a little late this time. My bad, guys. Okay, So this is great. I mean, we've got both Panzer divisions in the north across the Daugava. We've got a motorized unit, one hex out of Riga. We've got the headquarters unit moving smartly up this way. And yeah, this is all great. Everybody, well, let's move him one more. He keeps showing out of command range, even though he's not. But it could, oh, it's the heck. I'm sorry. I know why. Because you have to cross the river. So it's not only 5 hexes, it's also movement points, and it takes too many movement points. And now he's in supply. I'm actually really glad I checked that. You do not want this panzer group to be out of supply right at the start. That also reminds me that we're going to try to do a supply. Um, Stanley, you're watching Sweden versus Czechoslovakia in ice hockey, huh? You wild man. What? That's a random match. Okay, excellent. Yeah, I became when the Blackhawks got really good when I was living in Chicago because I didn't grow up playing hockey. But when the Blackhawks got really good, that whole town, all of Chicago, just got nuts about the Blackhawks. Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews, and those guys. So, I became a hockey fan. I can't say that I'm like a diehard hockey fan, but I do like the sport quite a bit now. Uh, for somebody that didn't play it growing up, I played mainly baseball, American baseball, and basketball. But yeah, I do like hockey now for sure. Um, Okay, great. We've got everything set up here. We will try to fly. Well, let's just do it while we're here. Let's try to fly um, a supply mission up here and see if we can drop anything on our Panzers. 20 fuel that we're going to get up there? Okay, that works. It's something, right? It's better than nothing. And now, so let's click on this unit actually. Let's go back to move mode. Let's see where its fuel was. I think it was at like 82 or 83%. Yeah, Stanley, the Blackhawks have a great history. They were one of the original six. They and Detroit, the Red Wings, have a huge rivalry, of course, as part of the original six. Now, Detroit's moved to the east now. The Blackhawks are still in the west. But that stadium, the old Chicago Stadium, they always like scream out the national anthem, like all the fans. It's the only place I see that does that. It's a pretty wild experience. Great atmosphere. It's the Blackhawks lead the NHL in attendance pretty much every year, and it's a great experience if you ever get the chance to go to a game. Blackhawks aren't that great now, but of course, they had quite a run there for a while. Okay, so this is at 85%. Let's go back and see if we can drop any more fuel on this and get something through. And we did. We got 13 more tons of fuel out there. We do have some anti-aircraft out here, but it doesn't seem to be affecting us. Let's try to hit this Panzer group. We couldn't get it. I probably should have done 1 and 1. So 13 tons of fuel, how much did that even add? So we were at 85%. What's it going to say now? 87%. Well, hey, you need every drop of fuel you can get out here. So that's good. All right. Now then, what's left down here? Well, we still have von Manstein, who has his infantry guy has already taken off, but he still has a motorized division, and he's got a panzer division. And so let's click off of von Manstein, and these guys are going to go south here to Daugava. And let's bring it. It looks like this is telling us this is the most efficient way to bring the motorized unit. So let's get that motorized unit moving. They did capture 4 tons of fuel, always important, and we knocked them back into that pocket. Now look at all of these routed units out here. Let's go ahead, move forward. We get 12 more tons of fuel. When you route out or displace these units, oftentimes you capture fuel, which is very helpful, obviously. Now we have a decision. There's this kind of stray unit out here. That I usually like to try to take care of with this. That being said, I don't know if I have enough movement points. All right, let's move him there. Let's get von Manstein out here onto the rail and get everybody within um, get everybody within command. Okay, let's have him go ahead and hasty attack these guys. It's only 1 point. It's the first turn of the game. Yes, we routed them out. That's excellent. Uh, and you get this like one unit. Well, there's another one here. I hate to have to take these panzers because this guy can kind of gum up the works. And so let's go ahead. We'll move here and try to take this unit out as well. Let's see what happens. It's only 6-1 odds. At least, yeah, we knocked him back here. He just retreated. I would have much rather we got him a little further away, but that's fine. Now we got to get moving back up this direction. We will displace these guys, get them flying, and capture more fuel. And what you're trying to do with this unit is make sure this railway, they cannot get back this way. And you also want to open this up for your Panzer that's going to be coming along. Um, as a matter of fact, we've routed these guys out far enough. I think let's come this way. Let's open up this path for him. Now, we wouldn't be able to get back there. We're going to have to just sit in that town. That's fine. Now, he's a little out of command range. But we're going to have to move von Manstein down this way anyway to catch up with the Panzer. And so I think what we'll do here is move von Manstein right on top of him. All right, so now you see we've got the railway this way covered. We've got the railway down this way covered. I would like to see a couple of these hexes shaded green. We may have to do that with one of these motorized units because you just don't want to give these guys an out. As it stands right now, they can get back around, kind of up in this way, and we're going to have to go take care of that here in a moment. All right, so we're going to take this Panzer group. Now, if we bring him here, gosh, seems like that's taken way too many movement points. Um, well, let's see. What's the best way of doing this? Floor. So with captured fuel, it is with the unit that turn during the logistics phase. I think it goes back to the headquarters. That's my understanding, the core headquarters. And so it's just like you're getting a free supply drop, a free fuel drop. Um, I don't like the fact that they do still have a little bit of an out here. Um, we've left open one rail line here, and that bothers me. As a matter of fact, in retrospect, well, that's fine. It's not the end of the world. Let's bring him here. Looks like that's our fastest route. So we're going to bring this Panzer, the 8th Panzer, up this way. Now, see, they have no way of getting out by rail, but now they will be able to retreat back this way. Now, luckily, we will have units that will close off that retreat path. It may just take us an extra turn to bag those guys. Now, we could come up this way, but let's just continue on. It's better to come this way. Now we'll do a hasty attack here. And you see the odds are just astronomical there. So we routed that unit out. Let's see. Now, if we went here, we actually could get across the river, but it's not the end of the world if you don't get across the river. And I think we're going to end right there, right at the entrance. Now, these guys should start retreating out of here. To the extent they don't, we will take this motorized unit up here and blow them out and then get the Panzer moving again. Now, this is the infantry unit way back here. He is out of command now. Let's see if we can move von Manstein around to get him back in command, but I don't want von Manstein to be sitting back here too far. As a matter of fact, you know what? We're going to change him over. That'll be the first thing we do in turn 2. And so no biggie. He's got 86% fuel. He can also get fuel himself from the railhead, and the railhead at the start of the next turn will be here. He'll be within, range to where he can pull a little fuel back from our starting line here. So I think that'll be okay. Um, Now, if I had to do this all, I think we're in very good shape. That's pretty much it for Army Group North. We will come back and move the air units before we click over to turn two after we get done with the center and the south. If I had to do it all over again, I probably would take this motorized unit and get it out here a little further instead of doing this kind of back and forth dance I did. Now, that did allow us to take Riga on turn one, and so that's great because it opened up enough movement, points to get the other motorized unit up here. But I do think if I had to do it again, I would really like to have gotten this motorized unit, down in this area. So these guys have really no escape hatch left. Now, I still think we can close the door on them. I don't think that they're going to be able to get out of here. They're all routed, which means you can't even really give them orders. But they will try to flee to safety. They don't get that dumb, right? And so, you know, we could have done some things a little bit better, but this is an excellent start. If you start with this, you're you're in good shape here. And you see the two pinchers from the north, from the south, and we should be able to bag up all of these troops by turn two or three. These guys will be coming along, the infantry in the 18th to mop up whatever we don't. These guys will continue moving a little bit further east until they get to this rail line. Then they'll head north, northeast, I should say, cross the Daugava, and then start spreading out here. We'll leave some behind here to take care of anything coming through from Veliluki, and then we'll move more and more up here to the east of Peskov. Uh, I think that's it for this time, guys. Next time when we come back, we're going to start moving the Ninth Army, which will now has a really nice area to move north here, or to move east, I'm sorry, and try to almost get to Vilnius. Now it will take the Panzer Corps here, the 3rd Panzer, to take Vilnius, and then the 3rd Panzer will do an inside pocket and an outside pocket from Minsk, and we should be able to pocket all of these troops if we do it correctly. So that will be next time in part 5. We will start moving the Ninth Army. But for now, if I scoot out a little bit, you see here we have panzers across the Daugava, on the doorstep of the Daugava, almost to Riga. We're looking good. We're moving fast. As you can see, we're about a little over 1/3 of the way, heck, almost even halfway to Leningrad after turn 1. Now, as you get up here, the resistance starts to stiffen. Well, actually, like right here, there is some resistance at Peskov, but right here, the Soviets have a lot of units. But we'll try to run another, pocket around all of these guys as well. But that's all for the future. For this time, thank you guys so much for joining me. Looks like we've got all the settings set up now, and we shouldn't have any problem with these War in the East streams. This seemed to work very, very well, so that's great. It's just a little bit different than the War in the Pacific, it seems. I have now found out. And so we will be back on Saturday, I guess, Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific, and I will see you guys then. Thank you so much for dropping by Strategy Gaming Dojo. As always, thank you.